I'll show you how it's done. Shazam!
Gang, everyone. How you doing? Happy Valentine's. I don't know if it's the day, but, you know, the time frame. We are watching
Guess Who's Coming to Dinner?
Who's Coming to Dinner, starring Ashton Kutcher and Bernie Mac.
Oh, God. I try to forget that version exists. We're not watching that version, fortunately. Fortunately, we're watching the version with Sidney Poitier. And
R.I.P.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Sidney Poitier, who passed very recently.
This is a famous movie.
Yeah, it is. It's a very famous movie.
Probably, it kind of fills two quarters. You know, it's not Black History, but you know, I mean, like it's about you know, racial issues, and on top of that, it is a love story.
Why don't I go check in a hotel and get some rest, and you go find your folks?
Oh, John. You wanted to meet them, let's go meet them. The sooner we get it over with, the better. Mom may not even be at the gallery. She'll probably be out to lunch. Dad's at his office. You may not meet them till dinner anyway.
You know, you may be wrong about that. You should have called and told me to come. You may be in for the biggest shock of your young life.
Well, that's like a white father's worst nightmare. It's like calling him a black boyfriend.
There's no problem.
I never looked at Sidney Poitier along with these other big black leaders, but he's like a black celebrity in his own right.
Yeah, of course he is.
He's like a, I say black, I mean like a black figure, like how you have
like Sam Cooke and shit.
Say Sam Cooke,
Chuck Berry,
that football player, Jim Brown, Sidney Poitier.
Yeah, like he's
successful black man in like a dominant, in a white profession that's really white.
Yeah,
which is Hollywood.
It's not only the whitest profession, but it's the most in-your-face profession there is.
Yeah, and he's thriving. He's been in a lot of good movies.
Mm-hmm.
He's a legend.
He's a star.
If it wasn't him, it wouldn't beat in Will Smith or Denzel.
Mm-hmm. Call my folks and get that out of the way.
Okay, use the phone in the study. Are you going to introduce me?
Not on the phone.
Aren't you going to tell them about me?
Like, this is during the civil rights movement.
Yeah.
This is when he came out.
Yes.
Think how crazy this is. This is the height of racial tension. Segregation is not even down south. Segregation is a thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure segregation's still around by this point. Yeah.
Yeah, he's fighting to abolish that. That's what I'm saying. Down south, I tell you, everything's segregated. Like, so this is the height of racial tensions. This is the end of the 60s.
And you want my opinion. I don't care to see a member of my own race getting above himself.
Then I don't want your opinion. And
What?
If you ever do, I'll ask you. Oh, Tilly.
See, that's the oppression. She can't even think that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's way too happy to stay in her lane.
She's institutionalized.
Yeah.
She's staying in her own lane. Nope.
And you're so wrong. Look, you're the last person I'd have expected to take such a silly attitude. You have someone? Is there someone here? Oh, Mom, I'm so
Oh, do I hear someone?
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, this is a movie to probably, I think, calm racial tensions, I think.
Do I know it?
Like everybody just get along kind of movie, find common ground.
Never known anything like this. I fell in love with him in 20 minutes.
20 minutes?
That sounds intense. That sounds extreme. 20 minutes, really?
She probably saw the length of the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was like, I never seen this before in my life.
Yeah. I fell in love in 20 inches.
He thinks is right and why.
This is the most blatant, soft thing to blow I've ever seen in fiction.
I know. I'm just waiting for the ball to drop. I just want to show and watch the movie. I'm keep talking, keep commenting. Stop.
Both his wife and his son were killed in a train accident in Belgium 8 years ago. And John, I haven't even told you his name. Mom, it's John Wade Prentice. Isn't that
A white-ass name.
John Wade. But Mom,
She was.
Look at her
Look at her
face.
face, yo. She's mortified.
I must tell you that John's been concerned about, very deeply concerned. He's been worrying for the past week whether you and Dad would be upset if... Well, it's about time. I was wondering where you'd been. Mom, this is John.
Dr. Prentice. I'm so pleased to
They never occurred to you that a doctor could be a black man.
Yeah, like the doctors can be black men. Like I mean, we there's a bunch of famous black doctors that happened already. Charles L. Drew, Joe Washington Carver.
Well, you should make up your minds because I think I just heard his car.
Oh God.
Mr. Knight?
Hi, Kelly, how are you?
Oh, hell's done broke loose now.
What's wrong? That waste disposal
No,
no
it ain't that, but you just remember I said all hell's done
What's
broke loose.
happened? Where's Christine? I see
She's
her
out
car.
in the terrace with little Joey.
With
and
Joey?
somebody calls herself Dr. Prentice.
Doctor? There's a doc? Well, what's wrong? What's happened? Joey?
Here he comes.
Daddy,
What?
how are you?
What's happened? What are you doing here? Kelly said there was a doctor.
There is. Dr. John Wade Prentice. This is my dad.
Oh, how are you? Nice to know you. But what is it? Is something wrong?
He doesn't mind him until he knows you're fucking my daughter. That's the problem. He doesn't mind him.
Dr. Prentice and I met in Hawaii, and we flew back in the same plane this morning.
Oh, well. Sit down. I thought something was really wrong. Tilly said
Oh,
that...
Tilly's behaving very strangely today. Would you like a cup of coffee?
No, thanks.
No, why she's behaving strange. Stop acting
How are
stupid.
you?
I think it's hilarious how it still hasn't dawned on him what's happening.
Yeah, he doesn't realize what's going on. He's just like,
Doctor?
he's not even understand. He doesn't even know what's
No.
happening right now. He just, oh, a doctor, cool.
Like, oh, cool, this cool doctor guy from Africa's here.
Yeah, okay, awesome. Okay,
Well, fine. See you all later.
now I think he's just starting to weigh on him. Like, whoa, what is happening? Yep, he's starting to think. Like, wait, what? He's like,
What the hell is going on here?
I told you that.
Look, Chris, if you don't explain to me in the next few minutes what you three are playing at...
Explain it, Mr. Drake.
You can? Well, what's happening?
Yeah, please, explain to me what's going on.
It's my fault. See, we have a sort of a situation here. Joanna and I didn't just meet in Hawaii. We spent a good deal of time together. I mean, all the time after we met. And, well, we have this problem. I fell in love with your daughter. As incredible as it may seem, she fell in love with me. And we flew back to San Francisco to see if you or Mrs. Strayton would have any objections if we got married.
Ugh. He's like, damn. This is one situation. To me, there's so much other things around it. Like
Yeah, honestly,
the speed
yeah.
in which everything is moving, the times. This is during
Especially
civil
the-
rights movement.
Especially the speed of how fast this is.
Dude, 10 years ago, Emmett Till got beat up for looking at a white woman, like, funny. And killed.
Yes, and what Joey wants, what she proposes, is to go to Geneva herself so that they can be married within the next couple of weeks.
What the hell is all the rush?
I agree.
Yeah, like they've only known each other like this one
Yeah.
trip in Hawaii.
That would be my concern. But
Yeah.
like, my concern is like, yo, like, this is so sudden. First of all, you're much older than her. And on top of that, this is very sudden. Like,
Well, the
it's
age-
a lot to,
I
like,
know the age thing was more common like that,
really? Jesus Christ.
but still, like,
We want
you guys haven't even known each other for a month yet. Relax. Like, fucking just slow down a bit.
There's something you both ought to know. I made a decision. Joanna doesn't know about it, and I don't see any reason why she should.
What is it, Doctor?
Joanna thinks she's committed, and that our whole future is settled, but there is no real commitment. And up to now, nothing is settled at all.
I don't understand.
Yeah, what is that?
Joanna said you're going to be married no matter what we might think about it.
Well, that's not the case. Unless you two approve, and without any reservations at all, there won't be any marriage.
Well, why, John? Why have you decided that?
Mrs. Drayton, this thing has happened so quickly. I'm just astonished.
Okay, we're not bugging.
Okay.
2 weeks ago, I would have said such a thing was inconceivable. But 2 weeks ago, I had not met Joanna. She's not at all like anyone I've ever known.
If we got married quicker back in those days
It's
too.
not just that our color difference doesn't matter to her. It's that she doesn't seem to think there is any difference. The trouble is, this thing has come up at a time when I already have all the problems I need. And I feel that I couldn't afford to get married if it meant that I would have to take on any special problems in addition to those we're obviously going to have.
I like how direct
When
he
you
is.
say special problems, Doctor, what do you mean?
You don't tell what he means.
Your attitude, Mr. Drayton.
That's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be, to be
No.
honest. But I think they still in shot. They're still trying to accept it. Because truth is, they could have been a lot more close-minded. I'm not celebrating them for that. But I'm
No.
saying they could have been a lot more close-minded, though.
True.
Not celebrating them. They don't deserve a medal. Supposedly, but
Yeah,
I was expecting much worse.
yeah, people don't deserve a medal just for being respectful human beings.
Yeah,
Or at
but
least
like,
attempting to.
honestly, I was expecting much worse.
Joanna is very close to both of you. If by marrying me she damaged her relationship with either of you, the pain of it would be too much for her. I wouldn't know how to deal with that kind of situation.
Yeah, he knows how to
In case
speak.
I wouldn't even want to try.
How can you not be in love with that? Thing is, they need to see him beyond the color.
Yeah.
Realize that he's like amazing. If he was white, it would have been no problem.
Yeah.
They'd be like, sure, why not?
You told us this, Doctor.
Don't misunderstand me. I love your daughter. There is nothing I wouldn't do to try to keep her as happy as she was the day I met her. But it seems to me, without your approval, we will make no sense at all.
Yeah.
That is why I'm asking for the clearest possible statement of what your attitude is going to be.
The thing is, it's kind of sudden. You have to kind of wait to see how. Because the thing is, all this happening so sudden.
Yeah.
They have no time to really adapt.
I don't guess you want to be dog catcher any more than he wants to be mayor of San Francisco.
No, I suppose that's right. Doctor, we've talked about a good many things. But there's one thing we haven't talked about. Have you given any thought to the problems your children are going to have?
Yes. And they'll have son. And we'll have the children. Otherwise, I don't know what you'd call it, but you couldn't call it a marriage.
Is that the way Joey feels?
She feels that every single one of our children will be president of the United States, and they'll all have colorful administrations.
Idealistic.
Yeah, she's very
You
idealistic.
made her, Mr. Drayton. I just met her in Hawaii.
But how do you feel about that problem?
Frankly, I think your daughter is a bit optimistic. I thought the Secretary of State.
Would you think it was some kind of cowardice if I told you that no matter how confident you two are, I'm just a little scared?
I mean, that's normal, I guess.
But you never know. Things are changing.
Oh, everybody looks racist here. Why was it from the 50s here?
I know.
I think I'm watching Grease.
Oh, well, when I had ice cream before, I had a special kind of flavor that I liked very much.
Honestly, this is probably closer to Grease than this is probably closer to time when Grease came out than the fucking 50s.
Daiquiri ice, honeycomb candy, cocoa coconut, Jamocha almond fudge, mocha Jamocha peanut butter and jelly, cinnamon banana mint,
Must have been some other place.
fresh Oregon boysenberry sherbet.
That's it. That's it. I'm sure that's it. Pretty fresh Oregon boysenberry. Bring me a big one, huh? Will you have some? It's delicious.
Black coffee.
Okay, 1 double fresh Oregon boysenberry sherbet and 1 black coffee. Thank you.
God, what a dick.
You know, Matt, I think Mike was right, but Joey is lucky. The work he's doing is so important. She'll be able to help him with it and share it all with him. It's best break anyway.
She's a gold digger. She's a status digger. She's a Kim Kardashian.
Great, but
She's the first Kim K.
you know what was the best time of all? Was in the beginning when everything was a struggle.
She's just like Kim K. She's stealing all the good black men. Hopefully she doesn't turn them like into a Kanye or like any other black dude she dated. The hot messes.
Did the one go crazy too, or was this kind of the one crazy?
I mean, there's a history of like taking these men and fucking them up, sisters especially. I mean, Kanye gets crazy, but Kanye is still pretty successful. He's just getting richer and richer, and now he's dating the girl from Uncut Gems.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
1 black coffee
Thank you.
and 1 fresh Oregon boysenberry sherbet.
Thank you.
I want that. Give me that. Yo,
that's nice.
I'm gonna get a sherbet. I'm about to order Uber Eats. Fuck that. After this movie, I'm craving that. It tastes like shit.
This is not the stuff. I never had this stuff before in my life.
He's gonna come across the parents and get into a bad argument.
God, that'd be crazy.
You know, it's not bad. Not bad at all. I
Okay.
kind of like it. Fresh Oregon boysenberry.
Gee, I wonder if him eating blackberry ice cream is symbolic of something.
Black of the berry, the sweet of the juice. Kendrick Lamar released a song. On his sophomore on his 3rd album.
Well, I guess I should have called back again because there is this one thing I should have. I didn't mean to write to you about. Yeah, there's one thing I didn't explain, Dad. And
Oh, the mother look classy
I'm afraid
too.
it's gonna be kind of a shock.
Their face.
You thought the white person was like, whoa. He's like, hell no.
Joanna,
Look at his lip. Look at his big ass lip. His big ass lip.
His jaw has dropped.
Look.
Well, what you're saying is that you feel practically the same as I do about this.
That's right. But even so, Mr. Prentice, you know, this is a hell of an unhappy situation for both your son and my daughter. Well, I think it would be best if you talked to John yourself.
I said that if they didn't approve, marriage. I set the terms.
They don't disapprove. Only Mr. Drayton.
Are you sure?
She said she'd even drive the two of you to the airport. Your wife says you are too, Mr. Drayton.
Well, not upset exactly. It's a very difficult problem.
Such good view. Oh my god. I've bunched it every night. Seeing that view.
Yeah.
All you have to do is tell them you're against them. That's all. And you'll have no problem.
You're not going to tell me that you're happy about this relationship.
This is not a night for talking about happiness, Mr. Drayton. This is an unhappy night.
You've been talking to Christina. I know how she feels. Can you imagine for 1 minute that I want to see either one of them hurt?
No. No more than my husband does. But hurt, they're going to be. Worse than my husband knows. I think worse than you know too, Mr. Drayton.
I tell you, he's as much against this thing as I am. Maybe more against it. Son, you've got to listen to me. Now, I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life, but you never made a mistake like this before. You know that you've been nothing but a source of pride for me and your mother your whole life. but you don't know what you're doing. Now, this affair here, it all happened too fast. You said so yourself. But you've got to stop and think. Have you thought what people would say about you? Why, in 16 or 17 states, you'd be breaking the law. You'd be criminals. And say they changed the law. That don't change the way people feel about this thing. You know, for a man...
Everything's how other people feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like they need to put more. They need to put more stuck into what these two feel, because they're the ones in the relationship.
They just keep up parents and parents and parents and parents and parents and parents and parents. Yeah, so people not gonna be in their bedroom at night.
Mm-hmm.
People not gonna be there for them when they sick in the hospital.
No.
It's her and him. They got each other for life.
Mm-hmm. Facts. Like, they're the ones in the relationship, so it's their fucking call.
Put a wrong foot anywhere, you're way out of line, boy.
That's me to decide, man. So just shut up and let me...
You don't say that to me. You haven't got the right to ever say a thing like that to me, not after what I've been to you. You know that, and I know that. Yeah, I know what you are and what you made of yourself. But you know I worked my ass off to get the money to buy you all the chances you had. You know how far I carried that bag in 30 years? 75,000 miles. And mowing lawns in the dark. So you wouldn't have to be stoking furnaces and could bear it out on the books. I tell you, there were things your mother should have had that she insisted go instead for you. And I don't mean fancy things. I mean a decent coat. A lousy coat. And you're going to tell me now that means nothing to you and you could break your mother's heart?
Mom's cool with it.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem that...
What happens to men when they grow old? Why do they forget everything? I believe those two young people need each other like they need the air to breathe in.
So dramatic.
Anybody
Yeah, that's a little bit melodramatic, lady. I mean, I get what you're saying, but still.
Husband, you might as well be blind men. You can only see that they have a problem. But do you really know what's happened to them? How they feel about each other? I believe that men grow old. And when sexual things no longer matter to them, they forget it all. Forget what true passion is. If you ever felt what my son feels for your daughter, you've forgotten everything about it. My husband, too. You knew once. But that was a long time ago. Now the two of you don't know. And this strange thing for your wife and me is that you don't even remember. If you did, how could you do what you were doing?
I don't care what your mother says. Maybe she's gone haywire, too. This is between you and me.
That's the first thing you said that makes any sense. Because that's exactly where it's at.
Yeah, and what I mean to say is
you said what you had to say. Listen to me. You say you don't want to tell me how to live my life. So what do you think you've been doing?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what rights I've got or haven't got, and what I owe to you for what you've done for me? Let me tell you something. I owe you nothing. If you carried that bag 1,000,000 miles, you did what you were supposed to do. Because you brought me into this world. And from that day, you owed me everything you could ever do for me, like I will owe my son if I ever have another. But you don't own me. You can't tell me when or where I'm out of line, or try to get me to live my life according to your rules. You don't even know what I am, Dad. You don't know who I am. You don't know how I feel, what I think. And if I try to explain it for the rest of your life, you will never understand.
What is good though? I'm buying him.
You are 30 years old.
I see why he's a star.
You and your whole lousy
he brings you
generation
in.
believes the way it was
Sucks
for
you
you
in.
is the way it's got to be. And not until your whole generation has lain down and died will the dead weight of you be off our backs. You understand? You've got to get off my back.
That's such a classic movie line, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Because, son, I love you. I always have, and I always will. But you think of yourself as a colored man. I think of myself as a man.
I felt that.
Yeah. You can tell he did too. Just the
I got a decision to make. And I got to make it alone, and I got to make it in a hurry. So, would you go out there and see after my mother?
Your boy's a man.
Mm-hmm.
He's a man.
Now, it became clear that we had one single day in which to make up our minds as to how we felt about this whole situation. So what happened? My wife, typically enough, decided to simply ignore every practical aspect of the situation and was carried away in some kind of romantic haze which made her, in my view, totally inaccessible to anything in the way of reason. Now, I have not as yet referred to His Reverence, who began by forcing his way into the situation and then insulting my intelligence by mouthing 300 platitudes and ending just a half hour ago by coming to my room and challenging me to a wrestling match. What time is your plane?
10:45.
Right. Now, Mr. Prentice, clearly a most reasonable man, says he has no wish to offend me, but wants to know if I'm some kind of a nut. And Mrs. Prentice says that, like her husband, I'm a burnt-out old shell of a man who cannot even remember what it's like to love a woman the way her son loves my daughter. And strange as it seems, that's the first statement made to me all day with which I am prepared to take issue. Because I think you're wrong. You're as wrong as you can be. I admit that I hadn't considered it, hadn't even thought about it. But I know exactly how he feels about her. And there is nothing, absolutely nothing, that your son feels for my daughter that I didn't feel for Christina. Old? Yes. Burned out? Certainly. But I can tell you that memories are still there. Clear, intact, indestructible. And they'll be there if I live to be 110. Where John made his mistake, I think, was attaching so much importance to what her mother and I might think. Because in the final analysis, it doesn't matter a damn what we think. The only thing that matters is what they feel and how much they feel
Excuse me.
for each other. And if it's half of what we felt, that's everything.
The teary eyes are coming back. She's the queen of teary eye
Yeah,
in this movie.
she is.
This was there was an Oscar award for teary eyes all time.
As for you two and the problems you're going to have, they seem almost unimaginable. But you'll have no problem with me. And I think that when Christina and I and your mother have some time to work on him, you'll have no problem with your father, John. But you do know, I'm sure you know, what you're up against. There'll be 100 million people right here in this country who will be shocked and offended and appalled at the two of you. And the two of you will just have to ride that out. Maybe every day for the rest of your lives. You can try to ignore those people, or you can feel sorry for them and for their prejudices and their bigotry and their blind hatreds and stupid fears. But where necessary, You'll just have to cling tight to each other and say, screw all those people. Anybody could make a case, and a hell of a good case, against your getting married. The arguments are so obvious that nobody has to make them. But you're two wonderful people who happen to fall in love and happen to have the pigmentation problem. And I think that now, no matter what kind of a case some bastard could make against your getting married, there would be only one thing worse. And that would be if, knowing what you two are, knowing what you two have, and knowing what you two feel, you didn't get married. Well, Tilly, when the hell are we going to get some dinner?
I do not like the way he speaks to women. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like he said something kind of questionable to each of them, really. The movie.
Yeah.
That was Guess Who's Coming to Dinner.
Yeah, it was.
How do you feel about it?
Me? I thought it was a good movie. I love the music. I'm a fan of, classic Hollywood. Had the classic Hollywood music, the classic Hollywood Dalians, and to capture the emotions. Really, really heavily dramatic scenes. I mean, with a movie like this, I assumed that was going to be what it was.
Yeah.
Sidney Poitier, is a star.
Yeah, he was great in this.
R.I.P. My man.
Yeah, he was great.
The father, I wish the black father had a little bit more to say. Like, I'm mad the great monologue just went to the white father.
Yeah.
And the only real problem I have with it is the fiance.
Yes, her. Like, yeah, she does not really have a real contribution to anything.
Yeah. She just did to be all giddy and happy and ignorant. Even Catherine Hepburn, the mother, had more to do. Like,
yeah,
she just had no role other than being the wife, the token wife, the person that he's trying to be with, but she's not really involved with him. She's detached from him, really.
She feels more like a plot device.
Yeah, she's detached from the whole entire story. She's just non-existent, like the meat and bones of the story. Mm-hmm. She played a part in the beginning.
Yeah.
Then in the middle, she just pretty much vanished as a character.
Yeah, she just kind of just pieces out almost.
Yeah, so that's the biggest problem I have with it.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I mean, some fine scenes. They tackled a lot of issues. And the time this movie came out, just...
Yeah. Just very daring. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But overall, I agree. I think this is all really well done. Like, really, like, I feel like some things kind of take me aback. Like, some, like... Mostly because, like, there's, like, a lot of references to, like, the old characters would be like, oh, I'm so-and-so years old, hopefully... Or I've been doing this for so-and-so years, or hopefully I'll be doing this for many more years. But I'm like, I know Spencer Tracy, like, died, like, not long after they finished production of this movie. Like, very soon after.
Wow.
Like, not even, yeah. Like, keep in mind, production, not even release. Production.
Damn.
Yeah, like, apparently it was, like, he gave that, like, that last scene in the movie we see, apparently that was, I heard, apparently that was filmed, like, just days before he passed.
Jesus.
Yeah. Like, apparently his health issues were so bad he couldn't even, like, stand up for long periods of time. He was in a wheelchair for most of it.
Wow. Yeah,
I couldn't even tell. Like, he seemed, like, healthy in this.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known just how bad his health situation actually was unless I already knew the stories behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
R.I.P. to him, too. R.I.P. to a lot of people. I'm pretty sure most of the people in this movie's dead.
Gotta be.
Even fucking...
I'm pretty sure Catherine Hepburn's dead, too. Like, she was also good in this, but yeah. Like,
she's old as shit. She was born in 1907, dude.
Yeah, it's gotta be. Yeah, like, really, like, this film is, like, stuffed to the brim. It's, like, great performance after great performance. Everyone here just really brought in their A game.
Yeah.
Sidney Poitier, I think he's, like, gives the best performance overall.
Oh, yeah. Especially when he's talking to his father, man. I felt that shit. And
that scene was so good.
Yeah, and then classic line delivery, of course. And then also like when the first scene where he has with the Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn, when he says that I wouldn't want to do this unless I have your approval. Like the way he just delivered his lines so eloquent and so poised. Like how can you not fall in love with someone like that? You know what I mean? Just like it really displayed why he's such a major talent in the industry.
Yeah, like this is just a performance that just commanded respect.
Yeah, 100%. It's his look, delivery, everything worked. Yeah.
Also, another thing that really bugs me. One thing that it's a very minor thing, but it is really. I noticed it at the end. It very bugs me. Like Spencer Tracy gets like the top credit at the very end. Like I feel like Sidney Poitier should have the top because isn't he like the main character?
I don't know, in ways the father is kind of the main character. It's about how the him being with this woman affects the family. You know.
Yeah.
Kind of how Bernie Mac is kind of the main character to Get Scoop.
It's been so long since I've seen that movie, so
pretty much the same thing, just reversed, and more comedy,
quote unquote comedy. I remember it not being funny.
I mean, in terms of like the tone.
The only real funny part I remember of that movie was the one they always showed in the fucking trailer, where like what's her name is in the car of in the taxi of Ashton Kutcher, and then he's like, oh well, I wonder. I hope your parents don't overreact to me being white. And she's like, you're white? Stop the car! That's like the one funny thing.
I totally forgot. I don't remember that scene, to be honest.
It's the one thing I remember about it. It's the one thing I remember liking about it, at least.
Oh, yeah, but in many ways, Ashton Kutcher got the number one. He's right there. Should be Sidney Poitier, then him.
Yeah.
But him as Ashton Kutcher and Bernie Mac together.
Yeah.
Well, that was my review to it. Nick, do you want to continue?
I'm trying to think of what else I feel like I feel like this is kind of like a strange movie in a lot of sense because because a lot of movie tries to like be very almost 50s Hollywood, 50s or early 60s Hollywoodist. Like this is a very like Hollywood movie.
Yeah.
But also has some very real like issues going on, which is something that's very atypical of those kinds of movies. Because most of the movies are like more about transporting you to a different world almost, or at the very least like more idealized version of the world, or more like dramatic version of the world, something like that. But this one tries to be more like the real world. It tries to be a little more nuanced, a little more real. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that there's like a little hint of nuance here.
Yeah, because the world has a lot of nuance. The world's not as black and white. So, yeah, by making the situation that with the families, and just having them be like full blown out like racist or just completely like never seen a black person in their life. They kind of go for that like more like the parents little view themselves as progressives, but when they actually come to their front door, can they really handle it?
Yeah, I feel like that's a very real thing that people just don't talk about enough.
Yes,
there are clearly plenty of people who like claim to be more progressive than they actually are. Maybe they believe themselves to be more progressive than they really are.
Okay. Yeah. So with that, so guys, with that is our scores. We're firmly in the 80s. Good movie, but some subtle things and one major thing that they should have worked on.
Yeah.
But with saying that, I think this is an important movie, and I think this movie deserves its due. So.
Yeah. I'm very glad we decided to watch this. Like, this very clearly deserves a spotlight.
For sure.
Yeah. Glad we got some...
And R.I.P. Sidney Poitier, Spencer Kimball, Katharine Hepburn, everybody else.
Yeah. Especially since that he just died a couple weeks ago, I think.
I think it was sooner than that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
It was a very recent death, at least as far as we're recording this.
Well.
Yeah.
See you guys. Catch you next video.